Hi, I'm Steve from NetEffects, and I'm here to give you a quick introduction to our toolkit for travel agents, our general data protection regulation toolkit for travel agents. That's a bit of a mouthful, so we'll refer to it as GDPR. My guess is if you have come to the site, if you've clicked a link to get here, then GDPR is on your map. You know that you've got to do something about it. Actually, we did a survey this past week, and what we found was that actually nobody is compliant yet. Most people have started to think about it. Some people haven't started to think about it, and some people haven't heard about it. So actually, the industry, the travel agency industry, is no different to the rest of the population of small businesses, and there's about 5 million small businesses in the UK. No different in that they haven't really had the time nor the guidance really yet to be able to really focus on the GDPR regulations and what they're going to mean. In fact, there's been lots of talk in the industry this year about credit card fees and about the tour operator package regulation changes. But actually, in terms of your business, the GDPR changes, the new regulation coming in, is probably going to have a bigger impact on your business in terms of processes than either of the other regulations. And that's because it affects all of the way you work as a business, the way your staff work, the way you train your staff, and how you manage client data. The nub of it, the nub of GDPR, is that the client, the data owner, the person, i.e. me, actually now owns that data. We've always owned it. I've always owned my data. But actually, when giving it to a company, I suppose I always thought, well, the company's got it. I hope they're going to look after it. Now, the regulation seeks to make sure that I, as an individual, can ask the company, and in fact the company should tell me and has to tell me what are they going to do with my data and how they're going to keep my data secure. And I can ask them at any time to remove my data, all of it. Just get rid of all data to do with me in your company. And that company has to be able to do that and get rid of all that data. And that includes storage, that includes IP addresses, it includes anything that can link some data to an individual. So that changes quite a lot of stuff. The really difficult thing for small businesses is that the whole audit process for this legislation internally in your business has to be carried out by normally the business owner or a very senior manager in conjunction with the business owner. And that's because there has to be, the business owner is responsible. If there's ever a data protection investigation into your business, it'll be the business owner who has to know that they've been following a set audit process to make sure that data is secure. And that means taking time out of your day to understand the data protection regulation. It's not like, back in the days when you used to have to have an audit for small businesses. And I remember those days I trained as a chartered accountant, and I've undertaken many audits in my life. Normally, you just get the auditors in, they'll audit the process, audit your financial statements, and spit out the results at the end. There's no one really to do that. Of course, you can go and get a data protection expert to come and do that, but it's going to cost you thousands of pounds, and that's just not really on the cards. That's not what this act is all about. It's not about you having to spend lots of money with external auditors coming in to create processes in your business. Actually, it's about you and about your business and making sure that you know what you do with the data. So when we were talking to our clients, we found that actually there's very little industry-specific examples out there. Things like, if you use a local taxi company and share data with that local taxi company, do you know what that taxi company does with that data? Are they GDPR compliant? Because if they're not GDPR compliant, then you're going to have to inform the customer that you're going to share data with a non-GDPR compliant company, which doesn't sound great, does it? So actually, this act affects everybody and everything you do. It affects password protection. Typically in a small business, everybody just allows their staff to make up their own passwords. Of course, everyone's got to have individual passwords, but how often do you tell staff to change their passwords? Do you tell staff never to share their passwords? Do you have password lengths and types that they have to use? My guess is you might have some of those things, but have you documented them? So if someone comes into your business and asks you, do you and can you demonstrate to them that you've got those processes in place as part of your data protection policy? My guess is no. There's all the small businesses that I know that the answer is probably no, you don't. So what we did is we sought to put together a toolkit which is going to make it much easier for you to go through the process of becoming GDPR compliant. So it's set out into different processes, looking at every individual business process that you will have as a travel agent. And then having done that, you'll then go on to look at the policies you need to put in place, your privacy policy, your data protection policy, and we've got templates for you to be able to fill out and adapt for your particular businesses. And then at the end of it, you'll have created an audit file. We're going to send you a file to put all of the papers in. We've moved away from spreadsheets. We've kept with a form-based approach, partly because some smaller businesses struggle a little bit with unwieldy spreadsheets. If you like spreadsheets and are good with them, then that's all, of course, fine. But we've got a form-based system, so literally asks you the question, gives you an example, and you can fill in your procedure for that. And out at the end of the form, we'll pop a PDF which you can file in your audit file, and then you can use that to train your staff, so that you've got an audit file of processes, you've got a file of staff training, you've got your privacy policy, data protection policy, and anything else that's required for the regulation, and you're done. That's what this is all about. So if you want to know some more, scroll down the page here. You'll see that we've got a little brief introduction, and at the bottom of the page there, you'll see the entire course set out in sections and then what's included in those sections. You can click through to a Am I Prepared for GDPR quiz now and have a bit of fun filling that out and seeing where you are, because that can be useful anyway. If you have got any questions, we've got live chat on the site here, bottom right hand corner. You can live chat us whenever, or drop us an email, and we would love you to use our toolkit and help you get to the 25th of May compliant and ready for business.